Alright, so in this tutorial we're going to take a look at animating a quadruped. And in the default, when you open the Nico model, it's going to be set to this astronomical like 5,000. So we're just going to take this down to 30 frames. And what I want to do is I want to kind of get the motion of just sort of the up and down motion for my model. And I treat my, let's go to 0 here, my 0, 15, and 30 as my extremes. So that's when the legs are the most sprawled out. So on frame 0, let's go ahead and set that. I'm going to go a little bit lower. So 0, like I said, these are my extremes, 15 and 30, right? Let me go ahead and hit Control A and make sure that we're only keying that translation, or that I don't have any other value. So what I did is I actually selected the arrow here to move the entire torso. So on 0, 15, and 30 is the same height. So on 8, it's my up. So on 8, I'm going to pull them up. And then the in between 15 and 30 is 23. So I'm going to go to 8, and then I'm going to click my middle wheel or my middle cross on 23, and then just right click and key that translation. So I'm going to hit play here, so we get this. Okay. And I want a little bit smoother of a motion. Let's just go to our graph editor, and we're looking for con here. So you can see that as long as it's selected, we'll be able to access that. You can see we get this nice wave motion. So what I'm going to do here is I'm only going to select my translate Y. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and flat tangent it here. And then what we can do is I'm going to go ahead and break tangents on these guys down here. So we get a little bit sharper of an up and down motion. Then on these, I'm going to free tangent. Let me select both. Let me unlock this. So if you ever get this where you're trying to use your free tangent weights and you get this error at the bottom, what I normally do is just select all my curves and go to curves and turn on weighted tangents. And now when I select these guys, I can do free. And what that's going to do is help me to sort of expand this. Because what I'm looking for is sort of the bouncing ball effect. So in order to utilize that or get the movement smoother like a bouncing ball, you want your two animation curves or mounds here to be about roughly the same. So let's go ahead and press play and see how that looks. That's giving me more of the look I'm looking for, because there should be sort of a pause at the base or the bottom of my quadruped's movement. And the next thing I generally do when I'm animating is once I get my up and down motion, is I start to move just like on a walk, I move the hip positions. So let's go to 0 first. And what you'll notice is he's got these spine controls that sort of work up and down the spine. And the closer you get to the head, the less it moves, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to work with these guys for now. And on 0, I'm going to rotate Y to 15 here. And then I'm going to right click on this, key selected. And then I want to do the same thing, key selected on 30. And so if I have 15 here, on the halfway point here, I'm going to make it minus 15. Oops. Take a look at how that looks. All right. So what I normally do on 0 is, again, you want to sort of follow that same path on the rotate Y. So I usually go less. I don't go as much, so I wouldn't go like minus 15 here. But I do want a nice curve. You know, it can oftentimes look too exaggerated, so I'll normally go 10 here, and then I'll key select it on that. Go to 30, key select it again, and then 15, go positive 10 here. So we can kind of take a look at how that looks. So hide our curves for a second. Get sort of a nice little movement, and I'm always looking kind of for a nice S curve. And I want his head sort of facing forward. Got a little dance going on. Show our curves. Okay, so let's go to 0 here. And what we want to do is, just like a person, if our hips are rotated forward, we're just going to slide this forward. So here it is on 0. And I'm going to go ahead and just do 66 on this. And I'm going to left click, right, key selected on 66. Go to 30, key selected. Now if you go to 15, I'm going to move this back, right, because his leg is sliding back here. I'm not going to go back as far, but I just want to remember this value because I'm going to do the same for the other side. So let's just do minus 40 here and just sort of look at how that slides back. And it doesn't look too bad. So let's go to 15, and I'm going to move this 60 here. And I'm going to key that. And then again, if this foot here is minus 40, I'm going to go on 0 here, and I'm going to move that to 40. Let's see, minus 40, I think. There we go. And I'm going to middle wheel click on 30, right click and set a key on that. So let's sort of watch that a little bit. Just watch the sliding. Look at the way the body moves. And we might go further. I might push it a little more or walk a little bit more than this. But I'm going for more of like I mean, this thing looks pretty sleek. So I might go somewhere within a hybrid of a tiger walk and maybe a dog walk. Okay, so if you've done the videos on the walk, what I normally do is just like a human walk. If this leg is the one coming forward to the slide, what I do is on 7, I lift it up. So it's almost grabbing. So let's do 5 here. Left click, key that selected. So we get this. Make sure that it's on the Y here. Key that and bring that down to 0. So we get this sort of grabbing motion. Oh, you know what? It looks like... Try that again. So 30 here. So 0 here. On 7, we have it on 30. See that. And then on 15, it's back on 0. Okay. So what I'm going to do too on 7 is I'm going to go ahead and it has an ankle bend here. Yeah. So on 7, I'm going to bring this down. 34. I'm going to key that. And then on 0, I want to make sure that my ankle bend is 0 here. Same thing on 15. That we get a little bit of a grabbing motion here as it plants. And what I'm going to have it do is I'm going to have it overshoot like it's grabbing the ground. So I'm going to pull it forward a little bit more before 15. So we get this motion. Okay, so we're going to do the inverse once we hit 15. So on 21, actually let's go ahead and do this. On 15, I'm going to make sure my translation is 0. And I'm going to key that. And then we'll go to 22, bring it up. Same thing, bring my toe or my ankle bend down. We did 34. Key that. Then let's make sure on 15 our ankle bend is 0. Let's make sure on 30 our ankle bend is 0. And that our translate Y is also 0. So let's take a look at how that looks. And then on frame 28, I'm going to pull this forward. Just kind of overextend that a little bit. not to the point where it's locking out. But let's just see how that looks. So we get a nice little grabbing motion. All right, just checking that out. All right, let's take a look at, and again, we haven't really pushed the shoulders or anything like that at this point. I'm going to stop the video here, and then we're going to continue on into the shoulders and then the back of the legs in the next video.